Many years ago, Amanda was stolen at birth and given to a childless woman who just treated her badly from the onset. Madam Kadi was already 55 when she took delivery of this stolen child, and she had to pay 300,000 naira for her. Not that she was anywhere near buoyant at the time. Amanda's arrival brought a forced change to her daily routine. Amanda was often crying. Madam Kadi would introduce her saying, "Yes, her name is Amanda, the cry baby." Amanda grew up with this cry baby label. This her first mom would drop her at a nearby nursery school where the teachers were not any better than her. That is, not better than the supposed mom. They beat her even more for crying. Soon, her fellow kids were made to sing for her. Cry, cry, baby, you want to see your mother. Shame, shame, baby, you want to see your mother. Shame. Amanda took in all the hostilities at home and at school. She grew up keeping to herself, and that even was more infuriating to Madam Kadi. One day at 7, she was crying and crying over the fact that Madam Kadi bought a small packet of biscuits for her, but while coming out from the car, she fell down and started crying. Madam shouted at her, saying, "You just like to cry for nothing. Isn't this small for that you are disturbing my ears over? Bring me that packet of biscuits, since cry is better for you. Crying is a better snack than biscuits. Get out of my presence, cry, cry." She grabbed the packet from her and ate it in her presence. Amanda threw herself on the floor and cried and cried. Then she started murmuring something. Madam asked, "You silly girl, what did you say?" Amanda said through tears, "I don't belong here. I have a brother somewhere. You are not my mother." Madam shook. She was shocked to hear that from her 7-year-old. That brought more and more troubles for her. This woman made her more and more miserable. And as far as Amanda was concerned, she had a home somewhere. She just knew it, and nobody ever confided the issues of her origin to her. Nobody. That's why this knowledge she has is even frightening. When alone, she would think, "My daddy left me a long time ago. My mommy left me a long time ago. My brother left me a long time ago. Summer is the season when students always marry for the long vacation. A merry-go-round, round, round, round. A merry-go-round, round, round." Kadi would hear this song and shake inside, making her hate Amanda the more. Her primary schooling was not very exciting because she carried within her the fear that the world was against her. Nobody seemed to understand Amanda. Her teachers were perplexed. Sometimes she would be the topic of discussion between teachers who knew her. Being underweight, she hardly had any stamina nor zest to participate in any sporting activity. Neither was she participating in play activities that demanded lifting leg or hands. She became an easy target of bullies in school, and in her quietness, she was still getting into one trouble or another. Why? A bully would pull her dress, and if she tried to defend herself, 10 other kids would be against her, and they would report that she was the one looking for trouble. She entered secondary school with the stigma of one day one trouble. Her school locker was next to the locker of a student whose father was well known in school and in town as very rich. The student Ife didn't want to have this skinny, sad girl next to her and would be cruel to Amanda, from pinching to hitting her. One day, as Amanda was about to leave school for home, A dozen school boys and girls surrounded her. They all ganged up against her, including and indeed organized by Ife. They were shouting one thing or another to her and against her. Why are you so ugly? Why are you so skinny? Why are you always looking like a witch? Why don't you ever laugh? You remind me of beggars. You are not fit to sit near me, said Ife. Find your level, please. Another chorus. You should leave this school. You don't even have a father. It is that woman that drives a smoky Robinson car that is your mother. Amanda, with quivering lips, said, She's not my mother. They all shouted and shouted that she's denying her mom. One slapped her, another pushed her, and Ife punched her on the face, and they all ran away. Ife went home and told her mom and dad about Amanda, poured out all the lies, and then put the icing that she denied her mother. Ife's dad is quite influential in the school, having donated a school bus to them. He called the principal immediately to lodge this report on Amanda. The next day, Amanda arrived school not as early as usual, but early enough to join the school assembly. In a few minutes, she heard the principal speaking on gratitude to and respect for parents. Then she told the half-truth Ife's dad told her, that a student called Amanda denied her mother. Next, she commanded Amanda to come out. They told her to climb the table that was specifically brought to the assembly that morning. She laid flat on her tummy on the table. The champion flogger of the school, the senior chemistry teacher, Mr. Mackey, gave her 12 hot lashes. Amanda didn't cry. She sobbed. How would she explain to anyone that this woman was not her mother? Sitting was a problem because of pains in her buttocks. And by Ife's dad's demand, Amanda was sent to sit at the backest back in order not to corrupt Ife, his daughter, and other kids in the class. How Amanda understood she has a brother and a family somewhere else is a mystery that remains a shocker to Madam Kadi and to whoever hears her story. She remains one of the mysteries in Africa. But to most people, Amanda was synonymous with trouble and therefore hated. Another thing that attracted more hate from her haters is Amanda would always tell the truth. They nicknamed her reporter and molested her the more for it. No one understood her and no one came to her defense. Amanda had an inner strength that stemmed out of, one day I will go back to my real family and all the troubles, all my turmoil would end. Amanda took university entrance and was given admission to read economics. The school is in a different town from where her supposed mom lived, so she lived within the school. Her roommate, Kosi, didn't like her either because she was too straight for her liking, wasn't interested in going for parties. One day, Kosi shouted at Amanda and said, "Are you a human being or not? Tell me. How could we be going for parties, but you are not interested? In fact, you are not interested in anything outside school and talking to yourself every time." Amanda answered, "At least I'm interested in something you don't seem to understand. Kosi, you have parents you relate with. I have a supposed mother who cares little about me. Some kids are adopted, and that's fine. I was not adopted. I have a twin brother. I have a mother and a father somewhere. I was stolen away." "Amanda, you are weird. I am shocked and even scared of you. And I can bet you no one would hear this your story without having goosebumps. As long as you don't harm me, we shall be roommates. I am somewhat scared of you," Kosi said. Amanda said, "There's nothing to fear. I only know what I know. One day I will find my true family or they would find me. Please keep the info to yourself." Kosi said, "I am too scared to think about it, let alone talk about it to others." They soon graduated. Amanda got a job with Kappa Machines located in the city she was born at. She won the Best Staff of the Year in her very first year of work. That came with a promotion and some cash bonuses and a weekend vacation at a 5-star hotel with interaction with the CEO and Kappa company board members who would be there for their AGM. She had a 1-hour audience with the CEO, the respected Mrs. Bella herself. Mrs. Bella saw she stood out, that Amanda was hardly limited or confined to her environment, but was one girl that would discuss global economies, that would make you stretch your imaginations and indeed sit up in your approach to business. Mrs. Bella immediately offered her to be an assistant PA to her. One day, Mrs. Bella invited her home. Bella's son went to get a new pair of glasses and had just come back. He saw Amanda and struck a rapport with her immediately. Amanda liked Obinna's glasses and wanted to change her old glasses to that. So Obinna took her there the next day. The optometrist checked her eyes and said, "Both of you have the same eyes. Are you siblings?" They chorused, "No." Obinna and Amanda kept talking and talking. They found that their behaviors as babies were similar. They were both cry-cry babies. Amanda was getting excited at what she was discovering, even though somewhat fearful. Could they be her real family? How is it possible? Mrs. Bella often invited her home, and her talks with Obinna was always something she looked forward to because it was as if she was seeing herself inside Obinna. Mr. Bella also loved this sharp girl that is the same age as Obinna, their son. One day, Amanda opened up to Obinna and said, "I know I have a family somewhere. I have a brother somewhere. From our stories, something seems to be ringing a bell inside me that the search is over." Obinna said, "I don't understand it fully, but I will tell Mom and Dad all these things." In a few days, Mrs. Bella, the CEO, invited Amanda home again, and they all, including Mr. Bella, went through the stories again. Amanda said, "Sir, I would not like to bother you with this, but I have been restless since the first day I stepped into this home. I feel as if I belong here." At the office, when Mrs. Bella asked me to be her assistant PA, I felt a peace and an overwhelm I had never known all my life. "Is it possible we go for a DNA test, please, sir?" Mr. Bella said, "Okay, I'll discuss further with my wife and get back on it." In 2 days, Mr. Bella and Amanda went for a DNA test. Results came out and it was 99.999% positive proof of paternity. The shock. How? The same age as Obinna, the same birthday. Amanda reached out to the woman who had always maltreated her, Madam Kadi, and asked what hospital she was born in. "Mama, did you say I was born in Port Harcourt?" "Yes." "Which hospital, please?" Madam Kadi gave a street name that never had a hospital. She didn't want to reveal the hospital where she stole Amanda from. Finally, Amanda found her real family. Did her former mother give up easily? No. The fight went to court. The doctor that did this atrocity is still alive and fortunately told the true story in court. Nobody else knew the truth except the doctor, Madam Kadi, and one nurse who died mysteriously 2 months after the transaction. The doctor said in court, "Mrs. Bella had her first baby in my hospital and I developed a rapport, a friendship with her family. They trusted me. She came to me with her next pregnancy. I examined her and saw there were 2 babies. She's a very busy person and just trusted whatever I told her. I did an ultrasound to show both the number of babies and the sexes. Having confirmed it's a boy and a girl, I decided that she would have a boy while I sell off the baby girl. Occasionally she would come for antenatal and I would tell her that she is carrying a wonderful, special, princely baby boy in her womb. And I noticed that such a statement got her happy, so I kept pushing and projecting the baby boy. On the day of delivery, her husband kept hanging around the hospital. I had to cajole him to go home that the baby would come inside the night. Actually, the babies would have come early morning the next day, but I had to give her an injection to force out the babies inside the night. Everything went well, and Madam Kadi collected the baby from my nurse, who was already programmed for the transaction, and left town the next day. While Mrs. Bello was happy at her newborn boy. I didn't mean any evil at all. Madam Kadi was divorced and at 55 had no child at all. So this was my way to just help her. I collected just a token from her as payment for the baby girl. After many court sessions, he was given a 10-year imprisonment with hard labor sentence. Madam Kadi also got a jail term of 5 years with hard labor. People are the way they are for a reason. Instead of being impatient, judgmental, and even cruel to them for some behavior that is a bit that we consider out of order, we should listen to them with an open heart, show some love and care, some understanding. They may be going through a turmoil they didn't create by themselves. Please encourage us to roll out and upload more life stories by giving this video a thumbs up. And please help us grow our channel by clicking the subscribe button and also the bell button in order to know when next we upload another very interesting story. Till then, remain amazing. Goodbye.